Hey everybody, it's Brad.
And I'm Christa.
We're the Big Family Homestead, and today we are talking about something that has been on a lot of people's minds an awful lot lately, and that is, what if I can't get the remedy medicinals that I'm used to being able to get if there's something weird that happened in society and all of a sudden maybe shipping stops or other reasons for those supply chains not to get to you, or you're honestly just looking for a more natural, chemical-free or very minimized kind of
if you want
way of doing that.
Yeah, natural pain relief or etc.
Or remedy.
Yes.
And we have to be careful. I'll just tell you right now, because we're not doctors, and we're going to say that a lot through this video. We're not doctors. We're not offering you medical advice. We're going to tell you what we know that we have used for us.
Right.
You do your own research. We're going to tell you what smarter people than us say in some books that we've read, doctors we've talked to, but then again, we're not saying, hey, this is medical advice to you, because we'd rather not get sued.
Right, we're not doing that. We're not saying that this is what you should do. And this is all powerful. No.
Do your own
This
research.
is what we're doing, and we hope that you would do your own research.
Especially now. Oops,
Yeah.
the table's bumping the camera. Let me move that just a little bit.
Yeah, this is stuff that we are doing currently or will be doing in the near future.
And have done in the past.
Right?
And we'll try to make a distinction on, okay, this is something we know about, but we haven't tried, or we've done this and it's worked.
Right.
But if supply chains weren't getting to you, what would you do if you needed to lower your blood pressure? Right. What would you do?
Deep breaths. No.
We're going to talk about that. Actually, I wanted to write that down.
Okay.
Breathe. But that, you know what, let's start out with something. One of the things that we first started out with would be, what can we grow at our house or buy seeds, which we're going to talk about. There's actually pain relievers that people say are as good as morphine. People say. And we're going to tell you about that. But let's talk about one thing we have absolutely tried and has absolutely worked.
Yes. Elderberries. I don't know if you can see the label. These are dried elderberries. They're a teeny tiny little berry that grows on a tree. Or a bush, I should say, not a tree.
A bush.
But they're super, super teeny tiny. I mean, they
look like
they look like peppercorns.
They look like black pepper.
They look like black pepper, but they're not, thankfully, because black pepper is really spicy.
This tastes bad though.
It tastes bad in this form.
You could kill it with sugar. But
we use honey. We don't use sugar. But when you make a syrup with it, then you mix it with honey, and it does have a very pleasant flavor. However, when you mix it with this, not such a good flavor. But the benefits are massive.
Colds. Knocks them out fast. That's our personal experience.
We actually have done this in our home with our children. For the children, I actually make the syrup. I would never want them to take this ever because it's gross.
She makes the... Okay, well, here's the scoop. You can make a tincture out of like a vodka, like a clear vodka. Yeah. And some people, they have a phobia or a thing about that, or not even a phobia, but they just don't want to take it, and that's fine. But that is a fast way of making what's called a tincture. So it extracts all the goodies out of the actual elderberries.
Yes.
And then you make something ending up like this.
And this lasts years on the shelf.
If you go with the vodka route.
If you go with the vodka route. You can do it with just plain water, but you have to leave it in your refrigerator and it will not last as long. Then the syrup you can make, you cook the berries with water, and then you add cinnamon and ginger also to that syrup. And then you add honey after it's cooled.
And ginger and honey and the elderberry are a recipe that we've seen that goes back hundreds and hundreds of years that people will swear. Even in ancient Chinese cultures, they say the ginger, the honey, and lemon, that's a recipe that is power-packed for antioxidants. It's power packed for knocking out colds and flus. Again, not doctors. That's just what we're reading.
This is experience,
but it's worked for us.
Yeah, this experience we've had.
So that's one that you can buy the elderberries online, dried, or you can grow them.
Right, you can grow them. You can buy the cuttings. I don't know if they go by. Do they grow by seeds? Probably.
Oh, everything grows by seed. It's just how long do you want to wait?
Right. Getting a cutting of an elderberry would be a lot faster than starting by seed. But they're huge benefits, and those grow. I cannot tell you the grow zones because I don't know those.
We did write a lot of them down, but not that one. But they grow here, and we're in central Wisconsin because they're all over our property, and they're all along the roadside. Yeah. So we know they grow in the cold.
Yeah.
So look into elderberries. That one's a big one. It's cold, flu, that sort of thing. Again, do your own science.
Immune support is really, I guess you could say.
Yeah, and no one's gonna say that it cures anything because we're not gonna go down that route.
Anything like that.
Nope.
No.
Here's an easy one. If you live near these guys, pine needles. Now, you got to be careful to know which pine needles you have around you, but pine needles grow pretty much all over pine trees grow pretty much all over North America. And people don't know this, but these little boogers here, these little needles, these leaves, these needles.
Those things that are all over your house after Christmas, yeah.
Yeah. They actually have more vitamin C in them percentage-wise than oranges. And you can make a tea out of this stuff just by chopping some of this up, make sure, because there is a pine needle that's you don't want to eat because it's not good for you. But you can chop these things up, and there's videos and there's information to check it out. This is not an exhaustive video on 50 how-tos because it would take 4 hours. Right. But pine needles, pine needle tea, excellent for you.
Aloe. This stuff is amazing. This is, her daughter uses this on her face even. She will put it in her hair. This is great for sunburns. Any kind of skin irritation, we've done it with, used it with this. Burns.
And not Mr. Burns from The Simpsons.
No, not Mr. Burns. And stomach or GI tract issues. So stomach acid, it helps to soothe your stomach. So
I used to have really, really bad acid reflux where I was on that. What is that called? The purple thing? Prilosec?
Prilosec.
And I think that's over counter now, but But I used to have this as a juice, and it would knock it out. That, and believe it or not, right here.
You would think that acid would make your stomach acid worse, but this actually helps to balance the pH in your stomach.
Yep. Now, again, not doctors. You do your own research.
Right.
But aloe, killer for sunburns, like she was saying.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Killer for sunburns.
Now, I personally have been taking this and this and this recently because I have recently found out I have diverticulitis. You guys who watch the videos may have seen recently I had to go to the ER twice. And then they finally decided, well, we need to figure out if we're going to take a lot of your guts out.
No.
Well, we talked to our naturopathy doctor.
Right. She said you have bleeding in your bowel. And so to heal that, you're going to take 8 ounces of water, 4 drops of lemon essential oil, and a dash of cayenne pepper. And the cayenne pepper will help to stop the bleeding in your bowel. Now,
knock on wood, it's worked.
It worked.
You can say whatever you want. Not a doctor, not medical advice. It's worked for me.
It worked for him, yeah. So.
And that's only been 2 weeks?
Yeah.
2 weeks.
Yeah, and she had told us to do that for a period of 21 days.
So, yeah, coming up. But then this was something that I needed for my digestive tract anyway, which is just the regular old apple cider vinegar. And I couldn't believe it. It's gross when I'll just tell you. Some people love this stuff, but they say take a teaspoon a day, but Brad's always overkill.
He does.
So I pretty much get it all the way up past the
3 teaspoons.
4
That's a tablespoon.
But you take this, or I take this, you do whatever you want.
Yeah.
I take this stuff and I don't have acid reflux anymore at all.
That's awesome.
And we get this brand because it's organic.
It's organic, and it has the mother in it. So
We're not making money off these people.
No.
I mean, if you buy something from Amazon, they'll throw us like 50 cents, which, thank you. But we don't work with Bragg.
No. I like their liquid aminos and their apple cider vinegar.
Now, we're going to talk about some education, and we're going to talk about some other things. You want to talk about that right now?
Sure.
Go, you talk about that, and I'll get ready to talk about this.
So this is it's an amber jar. Can you see it? Isn't that awesome? No, but inside this amber jar is
What's in the jar?
what's in the jar is a colloidal silver that we have made here at home, and it's how many parts per million? But it's you explain it way better than I do. Yeah.
Well, a colloidal silver is basically suspended teensy weensy little silver particles in a not purified, it's the distilled water.
Yeah.
And we personally have used it for things like pink eye. Mm-hmm. It has knocked out pink eye in myself, Christa, kids, goats in less than 24 hours.
Yeah.
You got to put it in a couple times a day. It stings a little bit.
Right.
Now,
yes,
not a doctor.
It's just what's working.
You do your own research.
And also cold sores.
Swish it around in your mouth.
Yeah, we swish it around in our mouth. Hope gets cold sores all the time because she loves pineapple, oranges. You know, she eats a lot of acidic or citrusy foods.
She loves pineapple.
Loves pineapple. She could eat it all day long if she could. But she gets really big cold sores, and so she does this, and just no problem. So
it's the silver particles. Now, there is a little bit of confusion as to what's good, how many parts per million, what you want, this, and that. We have done a lot of research, and we've decided that for us, you do whatever you need to for you. We have decided on the nano silver particles, not the parts per million. Like if you have like 1 billion parts per million, that's not necessarily better for your body to absorb it and use it or flush it. Mm-hmm. As opposed to the size of the particle. We have actually done some research, and we're going to start putting this on our Big Family Homestead store. We've got some little vials, and we're going to start seeing if people want to grab it, the one that we make. But we use the Nano Silver.
You're making a mess.
There was some that was
spilled. This jar is leaking.
I spilled it. But now the big thing, those are good things. But the biggest thing for us, and I can only tell you for me personally, mm-hmm. is when you get a respiratory infection, or rather I get a respiratory infection, you take a little bit of this 2-3 times a day, which is what I've done, not you. You do what your doctor tells you. Mm-hmm. And I have put it in, what is this device? Mm-hmm. This is called a nebulizer.
It is
an
awesome nebulizer.
Show them. Oop, here. You want to hold it over there?
No,
and I'll talk. You pour. But what it does is it takes those tiny little particles, and you actually can inhale it a little bit, and you breathe it in, and it attacks the colloidal silver. From my research, you do your own. Mm-hmm. It acts like a natural antibiotic, and for me personally, when I have had respiratory infection, kills it. Mm-hmm. Nobody is saying this cures COVID. Nobody's saying this cures anything. No. I'm just telling you what we've done.
You're right.
So don't freak out and go, Brad said no.
If we're having a hard time breathing and we're coughing, this is what we use.
I'm allergic to mold.
Yes.
This helps me.
Right.
So it's dead.
Oh.
Unless there's...
The batteries. No, the batteries are dead.
Batteries are dead?
Yeah.
Well, that spilled on the ground a little bit.
Good thing it's only...
Well, normally what happens when this is charged up is it makes this cool little mist, and it's just this light mist, and you breathe it, or I breathe it.
It has a cord that you can put in the back that has a USB, so you can plug this into your car.
It's rechargeable.
It's not rechargeable.
That one is.
No, the batteries are regular.
Oh, yeah. The new one is.
The new one
is.
These are regular batteries. But you can use this in your car super easy. You don't have to have an inverter or anything like that. Just your car USB doohickey, and it works awesome.
Yes. Yeah. So let's put that back. But check the website if you're interested in anything like that. Again, we make no claims on medical anything. You do your blah, blah, blah. But there's plenty of information out there all over the place.
Right.
Plenty of books. This one was one of the first ones we got, and you can find these books all over the place that will tell you all of the things that we're telling you and then some. And what's the one that we've owned this one in the past.
This one here.
And we gave it away.
It's The Lost Book of Herbal Remedies by Nicole Aplian and Claude Davis.
There'll be a link below.
Yeah. This is an excellent resource.
We gave ours away.
We gave ours away. We're getting ready to order another one, and this is just a PDF. So. But
it will tell you this and I think hundreds more.
Yeah, let's see.
Hundreds more. But here's another thing. Seeds. Okay, here's the deal, people. If you even can't grow stuff, like if you're not a good gardener, there's still plenty of herbal possibilities for you.
Things that most people would try and kill because they're weeds. But they're not. There's loads of things in your yard, in the forest, that are super, super beneficial.
If you just know what you're looking for.
Right.
And here's one of them. This is called Latuca virosa, and that is wild lettuce.
Yeah, I thought he was...
You thought I was kidding?
I thought he was kidding. I'm like, wild lettuce? What do you grow wild lettuce for?
Well, I'll tell you.
Okay.
Wild lettuce has, when you break it off, you've probably seen it in your garden or your yard and you've gone, I don't want that there. But if you break it off, it has that white milky kind of liquid that comes out of it. You can actually take that white milky substance and boil it down, boil it down, boil it down. I'm simplifying a lot, but you can boil it down, make a paste that people say is as effective as morphine.
Wow.
It's got a lot of the same properties. Again, not a doctor. And you do what you want with that. Go look it up for yourself. You do your own research. But for me, if I can't get to a doctor and I smashed my hand and broke it, I'm going to want something that's more than an aspirin.
Yeah, I'm thinking you might want something a little more stronger than that.
Yeah. I mean, what if you can't get to the doctor?
Right.
What if the doctors don't do anything like traditional medicine like we see it now? Yeah. I'm going to want to have access to that crazy wild lettuce.
What if something's being required before you can get treatment?
Uh-oh. There you go. So.
And you can use your imagination on that. And I think you guys, those of you who watch us, know what we're talking about.
Yeah, gotta be careful though.
I'm not gonna say anything.
You already did.
Not really.
Did.
No.
Did.
Did not.
Past tense.
Did not.
Still
no.
love you.
No.
Still love you. Did. You guys know we love this.
Yep.
Moringa. It's a plant. I have severe arthritis, osteo, and rheumatoid. And look at there. Have not had my $2,500 a month shot for 6 years now.
Yeah.
This is the only thing that I have taken that's different. Yeah. The end. Do what you want with that. We have tons of videos. Look them up. Let's talk about some things that are on the list.
All right. So
She's excited.
Some stuff that's on our list that we're going to be implementing here on our homestead is plantain. Plantain.
Not the bananas.
Not the bananas, even though those are delightful when fried in oil and salted. Smashed, fried in oil. I love them. They're so good. But I don't do them because they're fried in oil. So, anyway, that made a weird noise. Anyway, plantain has shown to have enhanced wound healing.
I forgot about that. Okay, keep going.
Yeah, improved digestion. And it also lowers inflammation. And you can look online. It's what I did this afternoon. And I think I found that on WebMD. So that's not just some wacky website that says this. It does this.
Oh, my.
It's on credible websites.
Credible. What is credible anymore?
Right.
Oh, my gosh.
So we ordered those seeds today. We also ordered yarrow, which it is a beautiful little flower.
It is.
That grows. And by the way, these two things grow in zones 3 to 9 or not 3 to 10. So I can't remember which one's which, but they grow in a huge area. But the yarrow, okay, yarrow is the leaves are if you chew on them on the fresh leaves, you can relieve a toothache, which that was really cool.
Forgot about that. I got to write that down.
Pencil, please. I did write that down.
No, something new.
Oh, okay. It's also a fever reducer, helps with the common cold, hay fever. He took my list. It helps with dysentery and diarrhea.
Who knew?
Who knew, right?
We don't.
It helps,
do your own research.
It helps with also GI tract issues, or discomfort, I should say. What's your?
You just reminded me of one that we've actually used multiple times.
Oh, yes.
Okay, now.
For a toothache. Go ahead.
A bleeding tooth.
A bleeding
tooth or a toothache. This was told to me by my dentist, so you can blame this person. Because I had...
You can't. We don't know where he's at.
I had a tooth taken out, and he said, well, because it was rough. He was in there for a long time, couldn't get all of it.
It was awful.
And it bled and bled and bled. He goes, listen, what you need to do, if this won't stop bleeding, is go home and get plain black tea, a tea bag.
Right, just a black tea bag.
Stick it in there and kind of, don't chew on it like cha-cha-cha. Just stick it in there and let it sit.
Hold it there like you would hold gauze.
Right, and he said the reason why is there are tannins in the tea leaves themselves that will contract those blood vessels and will stop the bleeding, and sure enough,
it helps
Scout's honor.
Clot. Yeah, it helps to clot the blood,
But it also helps with a little bit of the pain.
Yeah.
And it did. I couldn't believe it. It did.
Right. Now, there's another one that we know about, and we're getting ready to get some seeds of this as well, is the stinging nettle. Now, I know nobody wants to touch this stuff, but if you harvest it, I think didn't Bulletproof Pastor say you use gloves and you just cut the stem and let the stem dry with the leaves on it. And then once it has dried, it's no longer stingy. So
we need to pause though. Who the heck are we talking about? There's a friend of the channel. His name, he's a pastor. He's a retired pastor. His name is Tyler Woods, and we call him the Bulletproof Pastor because that's his channel name. And there's spiritual meaning behind that. It doesn't mean like, hey, you can't shoot me. No. It's but word of explanation. He's a prepper. He's a wicked smart guy. And we called him and said, okay, what are your top 5 medicinals? And he said, well, he hit a few of the bars.
He said all of these things are things you need to have. But he makes stinging nettle tea. So once it has dried, you can take those leaves, and there's no more stingy little barbs on them anymore. And you can make that into a tea, and it is a big pain reliever. It really, really does help.
Okay, sorry.
So I can't wait for that because it's my hands.
Now, here's one that we know of that works really, really well. Is what's called knit bone. Like in the Appalachian Mountains, people will call it knit bone, but the, I guess, scientific name for it is called comfrey.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of uses for comfrey, but one of the big things is if you get a sprain or break a bone or a fracture of any kind.
Or a cut. Even.
You can make a poultice out of it. You grind it up into like a gooey, sloppery, blah, 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 and you stick it on there, and people swear that it will cut your healing time for bones in half. Now, again, we don't know what the science behind it is, but think about this. What do big companies that make over-the-counter and other drugs do? They find what works naturally occurring, and then they synthesize it. That's what they do. So why would it be surprising that any of this would work?
Right. Well, with the comfrey, a friend of ours in Indiana, he cut his foot. Do you remember?
Oh yeah.
He cut his foot. It was
a big gash.
A big cut, and it was really, really deep. He should have gone to the hospital to get stitches.
At least 15 or 20.
He's a farmer, and he doesn't have time for that. So he made a poultice out of the comfrey and put it on there, and it was completely healed in less than a week.
Yeah, completely Whoa.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. I was really, really surprised. So, I think we talked about everything.
No, I think there might have been one more. Oh, here's a big one, guys. Oh, by the way, again, we're not doctors. It's not medical advice. I know I'm harping on it a lot, but people get stupid and they'll be like, I had black pepper and you said that it was going to cure jaundice. No, we didn't.
No.
We did not. But here's another one. Okay, so I've been seeing this naturopathy. Is it how you say it?
Naturopathy. Naturopathy, right?
Natural stuff. And how to try to heal your body's ailments with actual food, actual stuff, rather than just another pill, another drug, another this, another that has, a laundry list of side effects that's longer than the thing that it's actually going to heal. Might cause death and shingles and piles, and you might bleed out of your eyes, but you won't have such of a bad of a headache.
Right.
Nice.
Naturopathy.
Naturo.
There's an O, not an A.
This is one of the things that this person told me, and I thought hogwash, not believing it, and I did it, and I couldn't believe it, and it worked. Breathing. Okay, this is going to sound stupid.
In the shower thing.
Maybe. There's a guy who's he's Nordic. His name is Wim Hof, Wimhof. I don't know if there's a second F, but he has broken all kinds of crazy world records with climbing mountains in shorts in the snow. He can sit in ice. They call him the Iceman, like literal ice touching his body for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, a ridiculous amount of time. And he's figured out a way to breathe in a way that super oxygenates your blood and changes the pH level of your blood so that it actually helps heal things. And I thought, hogwash, no way.
This guy's crazy.
No way. I started doing it, Scout's honor, thinking I'm going to disprove this and then I can move on and we'll find something else that will work. To give you an idea, when I had the diverticulitis thing and I was in the ER, I had already been doing this breathing technique for
A few months.
no, not even. Maybe a month.
I thought you've been doing it for a few months. Okay.
And they were coming to take my blood pressure because I have had normally stroke level blood pressure my whole life. People freak out.
Oh, yeah.
They're like, you need to go to the ER. I'm like, no. This is honestly how it's always been.
Yeah, right. And you were on, can I tell the medicine? Not the
Don't, just say a medicine.
Okay, so he was on 2 different high blood pressure medicines. 2.
And then I started doing this breathing stuff and I cut it off and my blood pressure kept coming down, kept coming down. And so we're sitting in the ER. This actually happened. Because I was like, watch this. Actually. So she came in and she was getting ready to do my blood pressure. And she said, well, this is probably going to be pretty high. It's stress levels up and you guys just ran in here and things are going crazy. And I said, watch this. Because normally I know my blood pressure is like, what's normal? 200?
120 over 80 is normal.
No, but what was mine?
What was yours?
In the past.
190 over 96, 97.
High.
We're very high. Like he should have been, it was not hypertension. It was hypertension. Not pre-hypertension, but it was hypertension.
So
stroke level.
I said to Christa, I was like, well, watch this. I can feel that my body's it's different. Something is happening. I don't know what, I just know something's happening. And I started doing this breathing thing and then she came back in because they hook you up to the machine and they leave you.
Yeah.
And Scout's honor, it went down how many points?
50. Now, with him doing the breathing already, his blood pressure was at normal levels. But he dropped his blood pressure within a few minutes. 10
minutes, maybe.
Within 10 minutes, 50 points.
I said,
on the systolic and dystolic numbers. It was crazy. I thought there was something wrong with the machine.
Today we were at the chiropractor and I was telling the lady that was taking the blood pressure, I said, you're not going to believe this, watch this.
It dropped. Okay, you didn't even do the full breathing
I only got to do 30 seconds of what's normally 10 minutes or 11 minutes.
It dropped it 10 points.
She goes, what are you doing?
She's like, okay, now you need to breathe. And he's like, no, I can hold my breath for 3 minutes.
I can hold my breath for three minutes.
It was ridiculous. I don't know how he could do that without passing out.
Well, I didn't.
But I know you didn't, and it.
The whole point, guys, all of this, whether it's inflammation is your thing, or what if you're a diabetic?
Yeah.
What if you couldn't get your diabetes medicine? You're going to need to start looking around for other things that might be able to help you out if you can't get it.
Right.
And so there's links down below for our resources, the books, it's leaking,
We need to know
and information we have. And hopefully it'll be a blessing to you because, man, I hope that you never need it. I hope that life just goes on like normal. But we wouldn't be talking about this if I thought life was going to be the same as it is right now today, 2 years from now.
It hasn't been normal since a year ago, so.
So there you have it, folks. Better get busy.
Yeah.
Plant you some Lactua berosa.
Wild lettuce.
Wild lettuce.
Yeah. And you know what? And look up the pictures of these items and see, you probably already have them in your yard.
You might.
Because these are, to a lot of people, considered weeds.
They get rid of them.
And they're not. They're super beneficial. God put those in the ground for a reason. For us to be able to use and to help heal our bodies.
What she said. I agree.
So, again, we're not doctors.
None of this is advice.
This is stuff that we are doing or will be doing in the near future. And these are things that have really helped us out.
I'm Brad.
I'm Krista.
You guys have an amazing, blessed day. Bye.